Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. As you guys know, back on straight. There's live. Remember to go /VandalLive. Remember, this stream is sponsored by Vandal Threads. If you haven't already, check out Vandal. If you're spending over £75, you're going to treat yourself. All your gymwear products. Now today, episode 4, we have a guest amongst men. Not a men amongst men, a guest amongst men.
Goddamn right.
And you can see right there, he's wearing the Vandal Threads gymwear t-shirt in flesh.
Absolutely.
It's the ShanRock Shake. You in the audience.
Hello. Welcome, everyone.
How you doing, bro? You doing good?
Yeah, not too bad. Real productive day. Got my haircut. For those of you tuning in on the VandalLive stream, as you can see, fresh fade. Yeah, feeling good about myself and confident. You know, Vandal himself said fresh shaves. If you want to tune in and see that, don't forget to go do twitch.tv/VandalLive.
Babyface Vandal.
For all your babyface Vandal goods.
Had to, man. Had to. See, that's the thing as well. Like, as soon as it gets to a certain length for me, I always shave it off.
Yeah, there's just fucking me, which
see, that's it. Like, how?
Bit, you know?
How do you not get that urge to like just shave it clean off?
I just got past that point, you know. Like, I got to the point where like I had it all stubble. It was doing my fucking head in, but I couldn't shave it because I didn't want to look like a fucking 4-year-old.
Like me.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then it was a friend of mine, obviously, you know, Dabbit. After I started in the company I work for now, which we'll get into later on down the podcast. He's got a great big ginger beard, like huge. Obviously, you've seen it.
Of course, yeah.
It's massive. So he kept telling me, "Oh yeah, just grow it out. Like, I think it looked really good if you grew it out." I was like, "Okay, right, I'll give it a go." And for ages, it just looked horrible. Absolutely hated it. And I kept saying to him, "I was like, dude, I just want to trim this down." So what I used to go for when it started going like a really full beard and everything like that, it was I'd have a 4 gradient here, like around the mouth area and the goatee area, and kind of like blend it in, kind of like how it is here. If you're tuning on the stream, you can obviously see how it blends in a little bit to the fade. And I just got past that point. It got to the point where it stopped like flicking out and everything like that. Got started going like really straight. So you can see it's mostly straight. Obviously, it flicks a little bit here because I was wearing a mask earlier. But that's about it. Really, I just got like this is.
It's not patchy today, at all either. It's really
no, it stays really full. But I used to get like when I had the 4 gradient, just under here, underneath my chin, like if I can kind of do that here, there'll be a little patch from when I cut myself shaving years ago. Just a bit where hair never grew back.
I just avoided that one area.
Yeah, just literally avoided that one little patch. It was a really small patch, but I could feel it, and it would really piss me off, like hugely piss me off.
Carry on with the thing about beards. You have issues where you struggle to find proper beard products because you only got one supply now, don't you?
Yeah, so I only go with the one supply. So I've tried loads of other products and stuff like that. I think the first stuff I started off with was it was called Vines Vintage, and it was literally just a beard oil. They didn't do balms or anything like that. I didn't really know about balms and stuff like that at the time. I just got told about the beard oil. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll fuck it. I'll give it a go. So I tried that, and I didn't like the sensation of oil in my beard. It made my beard look really oily and like awful. So I stopped using it for a long, long time. I just let my beard just kind of like have natural. But obviously, the longer your beard gets and stuff like that, the more like natural oils from your face it actually drains out. So that's why a lot of people, like especially when yours starts getting longer, it gets like very itchy and horrible and dry.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's obviously the natural oils out of your skin that have just kind of like depleted themselves because they're not getting the lack of like light and everything like that.
Nutrients.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're not getting. Your face isn't getting the nutrients it needs, kind of thing. So I only really go with one company called Sugarbeard now, and it's actually again Dabbit, big bearded guy that I mentioned a minute ago. He uses them pretty much religiously, and obviously as he's a guy with a big beard, I was like, okay, I trust you on this one. I'll try them out. And they do all really like sweet scented kind of like beard balms and stuff like that. And it's not horrible grainy beard balm. Like, I've got some stuff here, which is a fairly recent company which I tried, which is they're called Beard and Bones. It's not bad. They're all got scents of like aftershaves and stuff like that. So this one's called the Male, which is very similar to.
And Bones
Um,
Ring.
yeah, there you go. Like I've got mine on my desk. Actually, I'm gonna pop that on real quick. So yeah, you've got obviously like Beard and Bones Ring. I have the black version of what Vandal has. Vandal's obviously got the stainless steel version. Just because like darker rings and stuff like that kind of match my skin tone a bit more. But this one smells like Sauvage, which is actually it's quite a nice one, but it's a little bit grainy and a little bit more like a beard butter kind of thing. So I don't use this too often. That's kind of like my travel like out and about kind of balm to like emergency situations if my beard starts sticking up on one side kind of thing. But Sugar Beard, they do like really sweet scents. They do like your old school kind of like candy scents. Like you got, they've recently just done a blue raspberry one. My personal favorite is the Pina Colada, and I hate pineapple and coconut in kind of anything anyway. But that's my personal favorite. That's always my go-to. There's a really nice rhubarb and custard. They do an iron brew one, which I got just for the banter, and it's actually quite nice. It did smell exactly like iron brew, which is surprisingly really good. Um, and then I'm trying. I've got some more on the way actually as we speak. It was supposed to be here today, but there's been a delay from Royal Mail themselves. Um, and it's a cherry one, so I'm hoping that cherry one's like a really nice sweet cherry because they do a cola beard oil as well. So I can literally make my
Okay.
own cherry cola scent for my face, and it's just purely for my sake, not anyone else's sake. Obviously, Whitney herself, she fucking loves it when I've got that kind of stuff in my beard, like the blue raspberry slushy one. I had in my beard last time she was here, and she absolutely loved it. She wouldn't stop, like literally smelling my face. Her nose was pressed against my face all the time. It was fucking annoying, but yeah, no, she liked it. I like it, stuff like that. They also do like they recently just started doing like soap bars and stuff, like beard soap bars and like body wash soap bars and stuff. So they're actually really really nice. They do shower fluff. It literally feels like marshmallow fluff. If you guys have ever had marshmallow fluff, sorry, or anything of that kind of fucking variety. Basically, like how like a really squidgy marshmallow feels. It's kind of like that, but it's like a shower kind of rub thing. So it's like for cleaning yourself instead of like shower gel or anything like that. So they do stuff like that as well. As well as what I found out recently, they do something which is like a subsidiary of their sugar beard stuff. It's called ink candy. So it's like a
Okay.
sweet vanilla scented kind of tattoo aftercare in the same kind of tin as the beard balm. It's got the same consistency as the beard balm kind of thing. You just rub it into your tattoos and stuff, and it obviously works better than Bepanthen because Bepanthen they've put stuff in there now that obviously fucks your tattoos up
Right.
because I don't want it being used for tattoos and stuff like that, which is stupid in my opinion.
So for people who don't take care of their beards, can you tell that
Yeah, absolutely. So, like their beards are horrible, wiry. It's all over the place. They don't even straighten it or like comb it or anything like that. And you can see that their skin is just really dry under their face. Because even if they've like shaved it down, trimmed it down like how I do, I go to my barber and get him to do it because they always do it better than I do. Even the patches where the hair was growing, kind of in the upper cheek area, you can see where it's like horrible and dry and spotty and everything like that. And you could like if they're scratching their beard all the time, like I know obviously getting past the itchy part is a nightmare. Um,
so growing your beard out for like X amount of years?
Oh, you need a lot of care if you want to keep it looking good and everything like that. You need a lot of care and a lot of time. Ends up becoming part of your daily routines. Like, for example, like on an average day, I'll get up. First thing I'll do is go for a shower. Um, every couple of days, I'll kind of like wash the beard properly.
Right. Also, there's an
And
actual
then
wash to it as well.
yeah, well, like that's what the bit of the soap bars are used for. Is you can use them as like hair and body wash kind of thing. But obviously, I just literally just use it to like wash my beard and everything like that. I use just normal shower gel to wash my body. Because I'm not going to obviously put that on my face and then rub it all over my
Well, yeah, that's it.
my area. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going to get ball hair all over my beard.
Okay.
But yeah, so I literally just use it to wash my beard, kind of thing. It actually helps exfoliate the kind of like skin under my beard as well as actually like moisturize the hair as well, which is cool, and condition the hair. Um, so I do that every couple days. Then I'll get out the shower, obviously dry my hair, like just kind of like towel dry it. Comb my beard, obviously get it all sorted. Obviously comb underneath it to get anything else out and get all the knots out and everything like that. If there is any knots, which half the time there is, half the time there isn't. And then I will start off with the balm, kind of like rub the balm into my hands, work it through my beard and everything like that, and then oil afterwards. To be fair, I don't oil it every day. It's every 3 or 4 because I'm not just going to oil it every day. And my skin ends up becoming like really oily skin because obviously as of my heritage and stuff, I've quite relatively oily skin anyway. Like especially around like the nose area and stuff like that. So I don't want to like over oil my skin, otherwise it's going to look horrible.
How
And then
long
that's
now have
that's
you?
pretty much it.
Sorry, yeah. How long now have you been growing your beard out? Because I remember, obviously, I know you,
Mm, mhm.
but you went for a stage where you were just trimming it down, trimming it, and then you
So
just let
are we
go and just
talking?
let it go.
Yeah, are we talking full beard or are we talking like
Well, at the length,
9 years ago when I had fucking goatee?
yeah, when you just, that's what I mean. Like, you just kept shaving it down to that point where it's
Yeah,
just like really short,
absolutely.
and then
So
you just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go.
that's because it kept coming through patchy when I was first growing facial hair. Obviously, you met me when I was what 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back then I
Well,
just kept
fucking
a goatee.
hell.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like 20. I'm 25 in a couple months. Like it's been just shy of 9 years.
Wow.
It'll be 9 years in August, but we'll get there when we get there. So I used to just keep a goatee because my hair didn't grow through super thick anyway. And obviously, like when you first start growing facial hair and everything, it comes out really patchy, as you know. Um, and for ages, like my cheeks and like under my neck over here and everything like that, and going up to my sideburns was all really, really patchy. So I just kept shaving it down to a goatee for years and years and years. Um, and I got bored of it because the more I did it, the more I looked like a fucking old man. So I literally go from looking like 16 to 60 in the space of
Real
like
quick.
yeah, like real fucking quick. I just got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try a full beard thing, and I finally got to the point where like it wasn't patchy anymore. Because obviously, if you keep a lot of people say like wet shave it, dry shave it, go against the grain, go with the grain, blah blah blah. It's all fucking bollocks anyway. It will stop being patchy. Obviously, the more you shave it, the more it will start growing through more anyway, because it'll open some of the pores like where the hairs kind of grow anyway.
Yeah, the hair
Um,
follicles. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So obviously, the more you shave it, the more it's going to start coming through a lot more. Started going to the full beard section, which is obviously probably about 5 years ago, probably a little bit longer.
Mm.
We're talking about 5, 6 years ago, but I used to keep it, like I said earlier, like really, really short. I never
Yeah,
really
five
bothered with
years
like
because you stopped
long
it
beard.
when, because you obviously you helped me on my flat and you had
Yeah,
the,
absolutely. And I had the goatee then.
yeah,
Obviously, you've still got the picture. When I'm wearing a snapback, I've got
yeah,
paint
yeah,
fucking all over me.
yeah.
I've just got the goatee. Yes, it wasn't long after that. So yeah, it's been about 5, nearly 6 years now, where I've just gone full beard. But I've had facial hair since wow, fucking when was it? Halfway through our first year of college. So halfway through about it must have been early 2014. I actually started growing facial hair properly. Yeah.
So obviously you're not sponsored by Sugar. Is it Sugar Skull?
Sugar beard.
Sugar
No,
Beard.
I would love to be because I use their products all the
Well, you
time.
take it serious, don't you? Because
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
me,
Like
you said 8 or 9 different names before, and you just like, can't get on, can't get on. It's not me
yeah,
being
like
a,
even beard and bones. I like this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I really like this stuff. It's just a lot more grainy for a beard balm than the sugar beard stuff. The sugar beard stuff does come out like a really fine actual balm because they use a lot more beeswax in there. Whereas with the beard and bone stuff, this stuff over here in the tin, it's I don't know if I can show you, but it comes out like a kind of like almost like a grainy
yeah,
consistency,
yeah, of course, yeah,
like almost like a buttery, grainy consistency. So that's kind of like my emergency stuff that I'll take out with me, like on a daily basis, kind of thing, just like an emergency kind of thing. But that won't be my go-to kind of thing. As much as I do love it, I love the scents they do and everything like that. And they did a really nice they had a really good fucking it was like a hair wash kind of thing, like a shampoo and conditioner in one kind of thing for both hair
right.
and beard.
Oh wow,
That was really, really good, but it was expensive for a bottle. It wasn't a massive bottle, and because I had no like little shelving units when we redid the shower area in my bathroom,
yeah,
everything was just on the floor, or I had it on top of the shower head because we've got that really big fucking round
yeah, of
shower head
course,
now.
yeah.
And one day it just fell off the shower head, and the bottom of the bottom of the bottle just fucking went bang, and that was like 30 quid
Oh
wasted. And I
no,
was I was so angry because it smelled really really good. It smelled like obviously the vape liquid that you like, Tropical Storm, that you get in the CBD
yeah.
at my work. Yeah, it smelled exactly like that, which was
Oh,
really really good. Yeah, it smelled really good.
there you go,
So
folks. If you love your beard and you love maintaining your beard and you got a big beard, like, take care. I strongly recommend the Sugar Beard. Check them
absolutely.
out.
So they are based in Newport, Wales, but they do worldwide shipping as well, which is really really cool. And it's for the amount you're getting, it's a really good price. So like I've spent, I think my last order that I did the other day was 40, just shy of 50 quid, or just over 45 quid, something like that. But that was two soap bars that are about 9 quid, and then you get two tins of beard balm where there's like 60 ml tins kind of thing. But it holds that lasts me A good couple months per tin, probably a little bit longer, 2, 3 months per tin.
Exactly. So you're not exactly just paying for something that's going to last
Yeah,
one time.
exactly. So, like, for example, this kind of size, this miniature size, this is a 30 mil tin. If I was really going for it, I'd probably finish that in maybe 3, 4 weeks, kind of thing. So, yeah, having a 60 mil really does help. And every tin you buy comes with like the little the rubber wristbands and stuff that used to be like fashion years and years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it comes with one of those as a tin grip, but you can also just once the tin's empty, you can kind of
Oh,
wear it as
wicked.
like a band kind of thing. And every obviously every tin that's sold comes with the band, and a pound or a small percentage of the sale goes to local hospital for the children's ICU, like the
Oh,
neonatal ICU.
there
Yeah,
you
so
go. There you go, folks.
there's always a bit of money raised for charity there as well, which is great.
So, going on from your appearance and your background color, you have purple right now. You're a
Mhm.
streamer on Twitch,
Yep.
and obviously, diehard gamer. Last
Mhm.
month, you smashed out, way over double the minimum hour of when you were
Oh,
working.
of
So,
December.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you were
Yeah,
smashing out
just a
many hours there. Talking of gaming, so where did it all start for you? What made you the gamer, the streamer that you are today?
so obviously we touched on this last time we did a podcast
Did
for
yeah.
the old podcast, which was Project ID many moons ago now. Um It started off like I've gaming's always been kind of in my family some way, shape, or form. So I have two older brothers. They always got, even though we never had a lot when we were younger, they always had the latest games console, kind of things. Like back then, you had like the GameCubes, the fucking Atari, PlayStation One, original Xbox when that came out. Like we got that in a bundle, which was fantastic.
Wow.
I got a PS2 for my was it 12th birthday? 11th or 12th birthday, one of the, oh, maybe it was a little bit older. It was just as they released the PS2 slim versions, not them fucking big
Oh,
bulky ones.
okay, yeah.
So I got that, and I got what did I get with it? I got the Shadow the Hedgehog game, and um, I think it was another Sonic game of some kind. I can't remember, but I used to love playing Shadow the Hedgehog. It was absolutely fantastic, and obviously we got loads of games on like from there as well. Like they did the GTA games. My brother used to borrow my PlayStation to play like GTA Vice City and GTA 3 because he got them in a twin pack. Which obviously he was underage at the time, but he got them from a friend. He bought them from a friend, and obviously I wasn't allowed to play them like ever knowingly, but I played them quite a bit. But no, gaming in my family kind of started from when I was very young. My oldest brother had Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, all on like PlayStation One. So I used to sit there and watch him play that. My mum used to actually sit there, and I think she did like speed runs of, of fucking
No
Crash
way.
Bandicoot, like start to finish, see how quick she could finish them. To play games with like my older brothers and stuff like that. And obviously, I was way too young to play at the time, so I just kind of sit there and watch. But he used to have that. He had a game called Siphon Filter 2, which I still remember to this day. It's absolutely fantastic. I really like playing that. Metal Gear Solid, obviously, that was in 4 different discs. You had Final Fantasy 7 and 8, they were on 4 different discs. My brother always used to play those and have like little memory cards, like an 8 megabyte memory card, which back then was fucking incredible. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it was mental. Like you could hold so many games on there, and like you think 8 megabyte now, it's not even enough to hold like a fucking gun attachment on Call of Duty,
Yeah,
which
Shan,
is
just pull your
crazy.
mic a little bit.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
Cool. And then kind of stemmed from there. So obviously, I got my PlayStation 2. One of my older brothers got the original Xbox. I think it was back in 2003. Like Christmas 2003 or his birthday 2003. So that was technically his, but we were all allowed to use it, kind of thing. And we got that bundle with Halo Combat Evolved, first ever one, which
Okay.
was fucking brilliant. Really great playing that with my brother. We got a game called Midtown Madness 3, which is you literally just driving around. You can just do whatever you want, like
I'm aware of that game.
in the car. Yeah, it was mental. I don't
A
remember there
vibey
being a
game.
one and absolutely, yeah. I don't remember there being a 1 and 2, but 3 was fantastic. I really used to play those games from there. Like we had all the old Sims games. There was the Herbs. Do you remember the Herbs? Like
Yeah,
the
I do,
Sims
yeah.
variant. That was fantastic. That had like Black Ops Bees and stuff in that. So I wasted many a time playing that. There was all the old Tony Hawks, like Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2. You had Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters and stuff. I wasted a lot of time playing those as well. I think I ended up becoming homeschooled at one point because the head teacher at the primary school was fucking awful. Like, so mum ended up pulling me out of school. I do my schoolwork and stuff, and then she said, "Right, for the rest of the day until your brothers get home, you can just do whatever you want." Like, and I'd always sit in the living room playing Tony Hawk's Underground 1. It was fantastic. I literally used to sit there for fucking hours playing it. It was best, some of my fondest memories, actually. And then from there, obviously got an Xbox 360. And I used to play a lot of Halo 3 with my oldest brother. That was great. Because by that time I was allowed to play get shooter games like Halo and anything like that, and old school Call of Duties and shit. So we play that, some of the best times of my life. Then we got Xbox Live,
Oh god, this is where
and
it starts.
yeah, absolutely. But I wasn't even the first person to use it as Xbox Live. Like, my oldest brother was, and he was 16 at the time, 16, 17 at the time. And he got into a Halo 3 lobby, online lobby. And obviously back then they was first introducing voice chat, so he was talking to people on the headset. And it was one of them really shitty Xbox 360 headsets with the one microphone and
Oh,
the
and that
curve
you
around the
get
head
with
and
the
the
360.
shitty little mic. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it plugged into
It was the
them.
arcade, wasn't it?
No,
First
so
one?
they had the Xbox Premium, but they were a limited amount.
Oh,
So they
okay.
were the ones with the slightly bigger hard drives. And you had the Xbox Arcade with the 4 GB hard drive. And then there was the black version before they did the one with the built-in hard drive.
Yeah, I know
They did the
exactly what
black
you're on about.
version. Yeah, did the black version with a 128 gig hard drive, which was like super limited edition back then. And then you had the 8 gig hard drive for the premium, then the 4 gig for the arcade. So that was what I used to play on when I first met you as well back in 2013. Was the Xbox 360 Premium with the 8 gig hard drive. Was it 8 gig or something like that? It was something fucking small. Um,
Something that's like
and
a minor update for a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
games
yeah,
nowadays.
it's like a minor update for a lot of games nowadays, which is crazy to
The
think.
Elite, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. The Elite. So played a lot of Halo 3. That was good. Spent a lot of time on that. Then obviously progressing on to first year. I used to. Oh no, hang on. Backtrack a little bit. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty Zombies with Matty. Obviously, you know Matty. Filthy
Yeah.
Empire. For those of you that don't know him. He will be doing a lot of the promo work for Vandal Threads as well. He's doing a bit behind the scenes stuff for us as well, which is pretty cool. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty Zombies, and I wasn't really a massive Call of Duty fan back then. It was only when I really met you about 8 9 years ago. It was roughly when Black Ops 2 was out, I think. Yeah, Black Ops 2 had not long come out at that point. And then you kind of got me into the multiplayer side of Call of Duty, and it kind of stems from there, like playing a lot of shooter games from there.
So you
Um,
could pretty much say from starting off in your childhood and having an array of variety with your
Yeah,
brothers that
absolutely. It kind of helped me become a variety gamer. So
variety.
I never stuck to one kind of genre like a lot of people do. Like, I know yourself, you mainly just grew up with Call of Duty and shooters and stuff like that. So that's the main things you kind of play, or sort of what you used to play like all the time. Whereas I had to have a bit of variety. I couldn't stick to one game. If I got pissed off with a shooter, I'd have to switch to something else and just chill for a little while and just kind of waste time on that, and
I
then
guess it's
obviously go
kind of a
back to
good
it at
thing
a
though
later date.
because you're not just you're not just learning on one game. You got strategics. You got
Absolutely, like I've got so many mechanics for different games just
yeah.
buried up in my brain. Is crazy.
Do you think
Um,
you could ever like if someone brought out an old PS2 or an old Xbox, you had one of those games that relived your childhood? We'd say we'd love it, but at the time, graphics were amazing, and we was like, it can't get any better than this.
Yeah, and you look back on stuff now, and it's just terrible.
Like the old
Like
Spider-Mans, when you see their faces, and like,
yeah, when you see their faces, like the blocky things. Obviously, we touched base on that in our own streams when Spider-Man PS4 came
yes,
out. And they showed them old school looking characters and graphics and stuff on the boats outside the map. So we touched on that. We had a good laugh about that. But back then,
Chinwag.
that was yeah, that was a good. That was like the best fucking graphics you could ever get. We always thought back then it can never get better than that. Like the old school WWE games. You remember those where they're all like
Yep,
block characters with like triangle fucking arms and shit. We thought they were fantastic. And I mean, you look at
quite realistic
game.
though.
Yeah, we thought it was quite realistic back then. We look now and it's like the game may run like a bag of shit, but visually it's pretty fucking pleasing, you
I
know?
mean, it's pretty good for a 4 meg game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we couldn't really complain, you
Didn't
know?
really at the time.
No, not at all. But yeah, that kind of helped me become like the variety gamer and variety streamer that I am nowadays. Um, I love just playing anything that comes to mind on the day. Like one day I could probably sit there and play like a bit of Red Dead or then like Call of Duty, something like that. Like obviously Warzone's the big thing at the minute. We've got Giz that plays a lot of Warzone. So I try and hop in with him. We've got TD that plays a lot of Warzone, so I try and hop in with him when I can. Valorant, I loved Valorant when Valorant came out. That was really good, and I've never really played games like that where it's got that kind of CS:GO esque feel. But no, I was really enjoying that. I actually used to be quite good in early stages before they released like season one, and then stopped playing that. Again, same with Apex. Yeah, same with Apex. Like pre season one, fantastic. We were getting wins all the time. We are just absolutely like what people nowadays call W key, and it was just kind of like just constantly pushing teams and stuff. Like it was me, Gears, we had Perry, um, and then there was sometimes one other person that would rotate in
It
the
was
team as
Bish,
well.
wasn't it?
No, we didn't have Bish back then. We didn't know Bish back then. But there was always three of us because it's only teams of three on Apex. But we'd always have someone that would swap out, alternate between. That was a lot of fun.
It's got to be
Uh,
quite difficult for you though, surely because like you got all these games in your head. It must be hard to progress if you're not banging out a game straight away. Like Spider-Man with like 100
mm,
hours playtime, or
yeah, yeah,
Skyrim, thousands of hours of game time.
yeah,
It must be
yeah,
difficult for you
absolutely.
to like try and find a game to be like, okay, I've now got to lock myself in, and if I'm not, not completely locked
It's
in, you got to spread yourself really thin on these games.
it is difficult, especially with like Destiny, for example. Like I played a fair bit of Destiny one with Adam. He kind of got me into that, but all he wanted to do was play Crucible. So it was literally like as soon as he got me geared up, that's it. We were just playing Crucible all the time, which I didn't really enjoy the PvP element back then. And then Destiny 2 came out, and obviously we were sweating that. We both stopped playing around the same time, if you remember.
Yeah,
And then I decided after I got this PC that I was like, fuck it, I want to give it a go again. And Perry always said to me, "It's like, yeah, if you want to play it, we'll play. That's absolutely fine." Because obviously he knew people that still played and everything like that. Which obviously we now have a raid team together, which is pretty cool. Um, so you got like
hashtag
obviously
just
like
scuffed.
hashtag just gov. So you got obviously like Cammy, you got Crazy J, you got Saber. We're the four originals that are left. Obviously, we had Perry at the time when he was still playing Destiny. We had Wargrin, and we had I think Scott was involved in it as well for a little while,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. So we'd always have like a team available and stuff, but they said to me like, look, if you want to get geared going into like the following season, then like the next DLC and stuff like that, you're gonna really need to level up. You're gonna really need to lock yourself in and spend a lot of time grinding for shit.
you took it a bit
Which,
further than me with that, because we
yeah,
was casually
absolutely.
playing it, and then I took it to the
I
next
it,
level.
it ended up becoming like all in. Like I was playing every fucking hour of the day, which didn't help when I got my Razer laptop, because I ended up playing at work, or I didn't. If anyone from work ever hears this, I never played Destiny at work. It's your word against mine. I'll see you in court. But no, I did end up spending a lot of time playing. Like I was investing a lot of time into it. I think there was one thing after Beyond Light came out for Destiny 2. So it's the current DLC at the minute. Obviously, by the time this goes live, it will be coming towards the end. So Witch Queen will probably be out by the time this goes out, or just after this goes out.
This Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So like in a couple of weeks' time, Witch Queen will be out, which will be the latest DLC. Which thankfully I'm pretty much level to go into that now anyway. Um, but I
We,
did
we
spend a lot of time grinding out. I think there was 1 week where I was playing about 16 hours a day, including being at work and everything like that. But that was
I do remember that. Yeah,
during like a lockdown and stuff. So I didn't really have anything to do. So I was playing Destiny during the day at work. And if I didn't have time to like pack it, well, if I didn't have anyone's orders to like pack up and obviously send out, and I'd get home, and then straight away just start playing Destiny again for another like 6-7 hours with the boys, just trying to level me up. And I think I went up 100 and something power levels in a week, something like
and
that.
in casual players' terms, really fast.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I
And
mean, we touched on it a
Cammy
little bit
himself
yesterday
couldn't
with.
believe it either.
We touched on it a little bit the other day with Sandy.
Mm.
He's a big Destiny player as well. He's a raider, and yeah, we touched on a lot with that.
Mhm.
Is it obviously you both live in two very different worlds? With his job, he can't turn on a laptop and start playing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or he does or doesn't. I'm not saying that you do
Absolutely
for
not.
your
That's
work purposes.
all alleged.
But how difficult is it being a hardcore? So we went from once talking about how difficult is it to lock in on these different games, and then to the other side where you're completely invested all your times into it. How much of like a chore is it to be like, okay, I've completely done all my stuff now for Destiny. Now I've got to wait months, and you play it for a week non-stop, and then you stop, and then you leave it for months. But what goes through
Yeah,
your mind with that? Is it
it
exhausting?
becomes a constant stop and start thing. Like as soon as I get locked into it, like I'm fucking fully invested. Like that's all I'm doing. Like every waking moment of the day, like I'm not talking to anywhere near as many people as I'd normally just like normally chat to. It'd just be like straight grind a game, grind a game, grind a game, grind a game, and I get to the point where I've finally hit that point, and then by that point I'm burnt out like completely. So I don't
That's what you
play
don't want
any.
to be doing.
Absolutely, you don't want to burn yourself out, which obviously like Cammy and Saber and like Crazy Jesse, they'd all make sure that I wouldn't get burnt out. They'd try and keep things fresh, or we'd just play, we'd take a break, play other games and stuff because they like to play a little bit of variety as well. Nowhere near as much as I do. Like their main games are obviously Destiny, so they try and keep it fresh and entertaining for me and everything like that. But it would just get to the point where we'd all eventually start to get hit that burnt out point and just stop playing for a while. Like most of us have currently at the minute. So currently in the Just Scuff raid team, you've got myself, Cammy, Saber, the three founders. You've got Crazy J, Dawn Zero, and A2. We are the six main raid team,
Bit
and
of a
we always kind
juggernaut
of
team you got going on.
pretty much, yeah. Like we kind of work out stuff relatively quick. We try and do day one clears. We don't try and go for worlds first. We tried it once, and two people ended up kind of quitting whether they had like prior like other engagements and stuff. Like obviously like work the next day, stuff like that, or they just completely burnt themselves out and were super tired. Which is, to be fair, understandable. I didn't think at any point we'd ever get a world's first clear, and obviously we
If
still
it
haven't.
happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If we can try and get day one clear, then fantastic. If not, then it is what it is. We can always try the next time a raid comes out, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, but we
I won't
but we
touch on
try and blitz through
sorry, yeah.
campaign stuff pretty quick. We try and blitz through that as much as possible and kind of like delve deeper into the lore of like new DLCs and new content that comes out every season or so.
So how different is it? Because obviously I touched on this with Sandy as well.
Mm.
How much different is it now? Because when we were talking to Sandy the other day, he's saying about how Spider's area of the map is getting taken away.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, when you stopped playing, well, towards the end of you stopped playing the game, obviously we had Forsaken came out, which I know you didn't like that DLC because it was very dark and gloomy.
Hmm.
And I don't think you kind of like vibed with the story as much as you did with like year one or even like the whole of Destiny 1 kind of thing. So his kind of territory, the whole of that area is now going. That's now being vaulted, which I don't think will come back anytime soon.
You hear that a lot though, Destiny Unvaulted.
Yeah, absolutely. So what they kind of do, they don't completely get rid of shit. They just kind of vault it for a later date so they can potentially reuse it in the future. Like you've got couple of the planets like Titan, for example, when you got Io and stuff like that, they've kind of got rid of them for now. They could always potentially come back in the future. Um, you've got obviously they've just recycled a load of old content lately. Like they brought back the Vault of Glass raid from Destiny One. They've kind of rehashed that into like a Destiny Two kind of feel, changed a couple of the encounters for the raid to give it a slight breath of fresh air, but still keep that nostalgic effect of like OG players from like Destiny 1 days and stuff like that. So they kind of like hold shit and like hide shit in the backgrounds and stuff and kind of bring it back at a later date. Like they'll get rid of weapons or kind of like vault weapons, so they won't really be useful. They won't level up anymore any further than what they currently are. But they could always bring them back at a later date, like they did that with the 30th anniversary. They brought a load of old weapons back from the vault itself, and then obviously took some current weapons away and kind of just stashed them away, kind of thing. So it's changing all the time. Obviously, we got a new area coming out with Witch Queen releasing on the 22nd.
You excited for that?
Yeah, like I'm really looking forward to it. I've not watched the latest trailer where they show a bit more in depth in the crafting yet, because obviously I've been working so much. I've not really had time, and when I get home, the last thing I want to do is kind of sit at the PC and kind of do anything at the minute. Like game wise, I just kind of get home, relax, watch some TV, eat some dinner, and spend time with obviously Whitney and Luke. Um, but yeah, so it's looking good because there's gonna be like weapon crafting and stuff. There's a new weapon called the glaive, which is a primary sword slash gun at the same time kind of thing. It's really cool.
Okay.
So they're adding a load of new elements, and obviously some of the Hive are gonna have um like powers from the light, powers from the traveler, which is going to be a really interesting element. They've never done anything like this before. It's going to be interesting to face this kind of stuff. And what a load of people are kind of like memeing about is there's going to be like Thunder Crash, Cursed Thrall, which is like obviously
Oh my
Arc
god.
Cursed Thrall. They're going to slam into you. You've got the Wizard, which is probably going to have like some weird like Arc Beam coming out of its hand or some shit. Like all just different funny memes that they could possibly do with stuff like that. But I know the one thing I have seen is a solar wielding Hive Knight, which is going to be difficult.
Okay.
And they're going to have their own types of ghosts and stuff like that. So they're kind of wielding the powers of the light now, and we kind of have to like defeat them and shit. So I'm really excited to see how this story is going to go. So from the 22nd onwards, it's going to be an absolute all-out war, which is crazy because 22nd is a Tuesday. I'm going to probably swap that day with Amber, my part timer, so I can kind of finish early and then do like a whole day on the Monday. So I get the Tuesday evening and the whole of Wednesday to kind of play and kind of blitz through it like we do every time there's a new season or new DLC or anything like that.
If you guys are interested in Destiny, be sure to go check out. So on the last part segment of like gaming and Destiny, obviously Destiny is a big part of your streaming career.
At the minute, yeah.
So like, are you worried about the future? So a big question that I'm probably gonna ask is, carry on doing Destiny 2 or Destiny 3?
Sorry about that. What was that? Sorry.
So obviously the big question about what's happening with the game going forward is
Mm-hmm.
carrying on doing Destiny 2 or Destiny 3?
Well, I know they've got at least another 2-3 years worth of content for Destiny 2 itself, which is obviously going to be the longest running Destiny game concurrently because I had 3 years of Destiny 1. We're currently on year 5 of Destiny 2, with another 2-3 years of content. I don't know, man. I feel like they could do something with Destiny 3 because they're still getting enough content pushed out for Destiny 2. They might just stick with this until it eventually just kind of dies and fizzles out and then work on a whole new project.
All right, cool. Well, that's something that you and the boys would have been talking about throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. If that time comes, we can obviously like still play it. Like obviously, a lot of people did when Destiny 2 Year One first came out. A lot of people were still on Destiny 1, still playing stuff like Crucible for like Rise of Iron. They had all that shit to still play. You still had Taken King DLC. You've got like obviously the original like expansions like House of Wolves and stuff like that. So people were still blitzing through that, obviously grinding for stuff on that. So there's nothing stopping us from still playing the game, even if they just stop making content for it. Like Battlefront 2, for example. Like, obviously, when did they stop producing content for Battlefront 2? Was that 2019? 2020? Whenever
2020, yeah, was the last one with the
2020.
EVA update.
Absolutely, yeah. But obviously, the community for that is still
Still
thriving.
booming.
So yeah, it's still booming. Like, I hopped on for the first time in nearly a year the other day, and it was still super easy to find a game. Like, there's still so many people just playing that game, which obviously goes to show that even if you stop making content for the game, as long as people still enjoy it, they'll still play it.
I think it's because how simple it is and how the only advantage people have with that game with Battlefront 2 is the superheroes and villains.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally
That's a good key
90% of
element of the
the
game.
rest of people have the exact.
Yeah, yeah,
They
absolutely.
give people too much freedom. But going on from gaming and that side of things, obviously, a big part of your life.
Mm.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your music because
Okay,
you're not a stranger to your music. You know, play
not at all.
guitar. You have, your old man has plenty of guitars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your man has plenty of guitars throughout the house. Talk
Mm.
to me about that.
So I've always tried instruments and stuff from when I was in like secondary school, like probably like year 8, year 9, stuff like that. I tried drums. I can kind of play drums. My rhythm's kind of there. Um, but I get tired easily, kind of thing. So drumming for me wasn't really it. Then kind of stopped for a little while. I do vocals and stuff like singing. Obviously, you've got like screaming vocals and vocal fry techniques and stuff like that. I can kind of do that stuff. Haven't done it in quite a while. But then you've got guitar and stuff. Guitar was a good passion of mine for a good few years actually. I've not touched a guitar properly in God, 2, 3 years, something like that. But I used to play all the time. Obviously, works on. Did you
Obviously,
see
you
that?
got Ghost as well. Yeah, we still that live in 4K.
Okay, well, you can just chill there for a second. And then obviously, yeah, I played, did some music for a video game. Not going to go too much into that. Um, but that was a fun time for me. That was a really good experience. Then I kind of stopped for a little while. Did some music for a band as well, which they've taken off obviously quite a lot since the days of old, which is really cool. Like they've headlined like big metal festivals and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. And obviously see them progress. A couple of the original members have split off and made their own bands and stuff. Of course, go on and do different projects and stuff, or just gone on to live their life, be parents, be husbands. Like it's this crazy thing. But yeah, I've done a lot of music. Obviously, like still listen to a lot of music on the daily. It's always good to see what bands and stuff are coming out with. Obviously, my music taste has expanded exponentially since we first met.
Of course, yeah.
Which obviously back then you were straight up just listening to like rap and stuff like that. I was just listening to like metal and loads of different subgenres of metal, like deathcore, metalcore, stuff like that. Like you had old school like 2013, 2014 metal, Australian metalcore. That was the vibe back then between like me and all my friend group. And it kind of just expanded from there. So
So with music, obviously, was that something that just fizzled out? 'Cause obviously, you had the talent. Do you think if you weren't so into gaming and you had a bit more freedom, you'd take that music a bit further?
yeah, like I think I just because of gaming, because of other priorities and stuff, I just kind of lost my passion for it. Um, Which is a shame because it used to be what I was about every single day. Like we'd even sit there in like old Xbox voice chats. I'd still just be sat there with a guitar in my hands, just fucking playing while we're talking, um, and stuff like that. And obviously, doing music for video game and bands and stuff like that was it was really fun. And then it just kind of all fizzled away. Really, I don't know. I don't really know what happened. I'd love to get back into it at some point, just with obviously current commitments of like work and family and stuff like that. It's just finding the time currently to
Of
crack on
course,
and
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Sweet. So with obviously music, there's been a lot of older generations who, in 2021, we see a lot of people who lost their lives. Obviously, most recently, we lost like Meatloaf
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Uh, like rock and roll legends and stuff.
yeah, of course,
It's
man.
crazy,
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
So with the color of your background, I'm gonna talk a little bit
Mhm.
about Ozzy. Where do you think he stands? Not in obviously anything like bad, but
Yeah.
a lot of people who are still standing on for him, like the conversation we was having before about him and Post Malone.
Mm.
A lot of people were thinking about obviously Post Malone brought Ozzy Osbourne into the music world, and
Yeah, a lot of people that don't really know that kind of style of music, like all the Post Malone fans and stuff, are like, oh my god, they made this Aussie guy famous. It's like motherfuckers, shut up. Post Malone didn't make anyone famous. Post Malone collaborated with him because he was a huge inspiration to Post Malone growing up, and that kind of music. Because like even if you look at people like Justin Bieber, for example, like he makes like pop and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah,
um, he originally was listening to as a kid a lot of like classic bands like Iron Maiden, fucking Metallica, even bands like Black Sabbath, which obviously their main frontman is Ozzy Osbourne and stuff like that. So bands like that and artists like that have always had inspiration from like other generations and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. But no, Ozzy was famous for a lot of you that don't really know who Ozzy Osbourne is. He was famous probably before you were even fucking born. So do keep that in consideration. Like, if anything, it kind of brought a different group of people into a new genre for like to Post Malone. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because people question Ozzy, just like was that even music he was doing? But like we say at the time, it was the best thing since
Yeah,
ripped
I think it
ripped
was
bread.
absolutely. I think it was a very good collaboration because it brings two different genres together in one kind of harmonious kind of song. You know,
Of
which I
course.
thought it was a really good mix. Like even like More recently, you've had bands like I Prevail, for example. They did a song with Joyner Lucas of all people, which you wouldn't think to even consider that kind of music as music, you know. And he's done like a
And it
really smart
slaps.
collaboration, yeah, and it absolutely fucking slaps, which is
So
crazy. Like,
carrying on, what obviously for those who don't know, what sort of what's the sort of music genre you lean towards most now?
mostly nowadays, you're looking at more deathcore and angrier kind of music. Like, I'm not an angry person by all means. I probably was when I was a
Do you think
kid.
that's a stigma though? Do you think like you having to explain that makes you feel like anyone who you talk to about it makes you feel like, oh, I have to say this is angry music instead of
I
them
mean,
just
I
knowing
guess
about
because
it?
they kind of listen to it and they think, "What the fuck is this?" Like they don't understand it. You know, like obviously, some of it is very, very melodical, which is great. Like you can find some really cool, like guitar riffs and melodies going on in all of these different songs, no matter what the vocals are fucking saying. You know,
Because you got me
like
into it.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, you were just like straight up rap, nothing else. Whereas I kind of expanded your mind to more different music. Obviously, you had a bit of like a bit of background into that, like mixing the two genres together. Like you had like Hollywood and Dead back in the day. That you kind of knew who they were. You kind of listened to them a little bit. You had
I probably went as far as Linkin Park, if I'm honest with
yeah,
you, mate.
probably Linkin Park, and then you got Starset. Obviously, they
Yeah,
did a couple songs for Halo, which is pretty cool. Um, and that kind of opened your mind. Obviously, Breaking Benjamin. Like I know you listened to a little bit of Breaking Benjamin, but that stems from your older brother's
that'll be
music
more my brother.
choices.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was more your older brother's music choice. So you knew of them through your brother, kind of thing. And then it kind of just expanded from there. So obviously, like I started listening to heavier music, kind of showed you this kind of stuff, and you like kind of vibed with it, which is pretty cool. So like obviously, the more heavier my music taste kind of got, the more heavier your music taste kind of got, and vice versa. Like you started listening to more rap stuff, like different kind of rap stuff, and you kind of introduced me to that kind of vibe of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I used to listen to a lot of Eminem when I was growing up anyway, because my oldest brother was obsessed with Eminem, especially when like Curtain Call and the Eminem Show albums came out. He had those on CD and stuff, and he'd just play them all the time in his room. You know, and obviously like D12 when they released their album, my older brother, so the middle child of my mum's three, had that on CD as well. So I used to listen to that quite a lot with him, which was really, really cool. But other than that, I didn't really have any knowledge or any background of like rap or anything like that at all. Grime wasn't really a thing in my music taste until maybe a couple of years ago.
but yeah, I feel like we're on that stage now where you can sort of like you listen to a song and you be like, yeah, Liam, check this out, and you know you got your own folder now on my Spotify.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what is that folder called?
Oh, it's just called ShanRock's recommendation.
Yeah, ShanRock's recommendations. It's not literally just like fucking like metal, deathcore, metalcore, anything like that, or gen or anything like that.
It
It's got a good
ranges.
variety of yeah, it ranges from like rap. You've got some just like really cool acoustic melodic songs, some fucking EDM songs in there. Like EDM for me in school, like back when Skrillex became a massive thing, and then you had like the more hardcore like dubstep artists like Excision, fucking Datzik, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you
That's
went
still
through that phase actually. Yeah, where
I went through
it was
that phase in
just that.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, with like me and my friend Connor, and then kind of fizzled away a little bit, and then obviously they started coming back in a big way, um, like in their kind of respective scenes. And I'd still get like notifications and stuff. They've released new songs. Like, okay, yeah, I'd listen to that, and then it literally again went through a phase of like listening to nothing but that kind of fucking genre as well. It depends on how I'm feeling on the day. Like I've got loads. Literally, just looking at my Spotify right now, I've got there's a shared album between me and Nathaniel, which has 1,324 songs on, which is 81 hours, 81 and a half hours of just dubstep and EDM kind of songs, which is pretty cool. I've got a house music playlist here. I've got chill music, which is more like acoustic stuff and like music covers and stuff like that, like song covers and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. There's a good couple rap playlists here. There's a new metal playlist, which is more like your Limp Bizkit, your Linkin Park, your System of a Down, old school Korn, Slipknot, Deftones, stuff like that. Then I've got like a lo-fi playlist, like a really nice kind of chilled vibe kind of thing. And then I've got a couple like deathcore fucking um, playlists, more of like your classic rock kind of playlist, old school like um, stuff like that. And then there's The best ones, which I find in my personal opinion, is my try not to headbang challenge playlist, which I like to send you every year. Kind of thing. It's like a kind of best songs of the year kind of thing,
Yeah, of course.
which is pretty cool.
So obviously going on from stuff that I recommend you or you recommend me a lot of the time, we do like to recommend each other's shows. And
Absolutely.
with that being said, we touched on it a little bit on the last show. And you're a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Absolutely, yeah. So you did tell me, because I hadn't seen anything on social media, because I don't really check social media nowadays, but I didn't see anything on the actual like first kind of little glimpse of the trailer for the Lord of the Rings TV show going on Amazon Prime. Was it September that comes out?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So the first little snippet they showed was pretty cool, and obviously you watched a little bit more on that. So them giving that sign, which was handcrafted for the little teaser trailer, they gave that to Amazon owner,
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, and he didn't know what the fuck to do. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
He's all
Which
this.
I find
There's a picture of him holding it
really
up, and he's
funny.
just all like, right, yeah. Oh, this is what I'm
Yeah,
paying for. Oh,
yeah,
this is what I'm
absolutely.
paying for.
This is what I'm spending $1 million an episode on.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's called Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. You're a massive Lord of the Rings fan. You tried to get me into it plenty of times. And
Absolutely, it took
finally
me
I rolled over with The Hobbit, which is absolutely amazing.
fucking
Talk
yeah,
to
it
me a
took me
bit
like what
about
7, 8 years.
What you're
Um,
expecting with the Rings of Power.
So from what I can gather, just going on the trailer and stuff, because they've literally released like no details on what this TV show is going to be about until very, very recently, and I think it's going to be like predates like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and stuff like that. Because if they're on about the Rings of Power, obviously there was rings given to men, which obviously corrupted them and turned them into the ring wraiths and stuff like that. You had rings for the elves, and then obviously you have the ring of power that Sauron had himself. So those of you that don't really understand Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, there's an evil dude called Sauron, made some magical rings. He had the ultimate ring of power, which basically made him fucking almost invincible until he got his hand cut off. And he caused war with all the different regions and stuff like that. Like you had the woodland elves, you had the other elves, you had the dwarves of Moria, you had the dwarves of Erebor, which obviously they touch base on that in Hobbit. That's kind of like the whole base of Hobbit is the dwarves of Erebor. Then obviously you got the hobbits of the Shire as well. You got and then you've got man themselves, which obviously like Rohan, Gondor, the village of Bree, stuff like that, like more surrounding areas and stuff like that, which is cool. Then you've got obviously like the evil guys' minions. So you've got like orcs, and then delving into like the current Lord of the Rings and stuff, they made like a weird goblin and orc mixture called the Urukai, which are just a lot stronger versions of orcs, which is pretty cool. If you've never seen it, it wasn't really my kind of thing when I first watched it, but I kind of got slowly more and more obsessed with it as time went on. And it became a massive thing in my kind of friendship group in school. We weren't like nerds or anything like that. We wouldn't class ourselves as nerds or anything like that.
Nerd.
But we did like that kind of nerdy, kind of geeky vibe. Like even Hobbit, me and my friend Connor, as soon as that came out on DVD, we watched it in my living room at like fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was fucking brilliant. But you've got like Ed Sheeran did a song for Hobbit, which is pretty cool.
He did.
Yeah, absolutely, it was fucking fantastic. It was actually on his second album. I'm gonna say I don't know. I'm not really a massive Ed Sheeran fan, so like,
Don't quote him on it.
yeah, don't quote me on that, please.
But yeah, so are you worried? Like obviously I remember when the Hobbit first came out, you know, when was that?
A lot, yeah,
14, 15?
a lot of people were worried when the Hobbit was coming out because obviously they did Lord of the Rings really, really fucking well. That became a massive like pop culture hit, if you will. A lot of people are very, very scared of what they could do, and obviously there are quite a few people that disagree with how the Hobbit was and didn't like the Hobbit. There's a lot of people that do agree. It's like with anything, like Star Wars, for example, like Game of Thrones and all that kind of shit. There's always people that love what happens. There's always people that hate what happens, and they can just never agree on it or anything like that. But I've got very high hopes because obviously they said I think the rumor was there's $1 million being funded just for the first episode of the Lord of the Rings TV show. So I've got very high expectations. I know I shouldn't go into it with high expectations, but because of the franchise, I am.
Yeah, so obviously I'm reading a bit here because obviously
Mm.
I'm only really a fan of the Hobbit, so you know I couldn't really get into Lord of the Rings, but obviously I still watched it for the lore purposes. It says here
Absolutely.
that major events have been taken in Second Age of Middle Earth.
Yeah, so I think Hobbit and Lord of the Rings kind of happens in like the third age and I think fourth age, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it
for a long
also
time.
says
So I
here that
looked into
Lord
a
of the
lot of
Rings
that.
was bought for $250 million in 2017, which I never knew.
Holy shit!
By
That's yeah, that's
Amazon.
mad. I didn't even know that.
By Amazon themselves.
Wow.
And in 2018 they started the creation of the trilogies.
Yeah.
So going on to the Rings of Power. Just
Yeah.
little bits what it says here. But yeah, I'm excited as well to see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
1.4 million per episode is what it's saying here.
Wow.
And they've got 6 lined up. So we're excited. We're excited. It's gonna be on Prime, so for all you Prime heads out there have Prime and you're looking forward to watching this, be sure to go check out in September. This isn't sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But moving on to the next segment, obviously,
Mhm.
Mr. ShanRock, he has a lot of things going on in his life. And if you can see in the background there a little bit, he works for a wonderful company called Phoenix Vapors.
Oh,
I've ever since I've known Shan, he's been in the industry, and you've talked to me a bit about that. How long, for one, start off with, how long have you been working in the vape industry?
um, I'm just trying to work this out in my head. So roughly about 8, nearly 9 years. I've been working in the industry. Like I've seen obviously like the start of vaping when they had the really shitty pens that were like backed by the NHS back then. Going on to like slightly bigger devices, like you've got big devices like this, for example. Like these are called sub-ohm kits. These are for the sad fucks that want to sit there and look like Thomas the Tank Engine, and kind of get a bit more in depth with it. You've got your more simple devices. You've got at the minute the main thing that's taken over the industry is these little pod systems. There's no glass on it. Back then, you always get all your mouth to lung kind of quit and smoking kits were all like metal and glass or plastic and glass. And if you broke it and nowhere did spare glass for it, you were kind of fucked. But then more for your high nicotine stuff, the bigger devices more for your lower nicotine stuff. And then there was a whole different kettle of fish, which like your rebuildables and your mechanical devices. And if you ever see all the bad shit on Facebook where someone says, like, there was a thing going around a few years ago where someone said they blew half their face off and their hand off and everything like that. It was actually proven to be makeup as well. But he said he was using something like this, which is it's literally a positive post and a negative post and a battery. There's no safety parameters to it, like there would be with one of the bigger box mods, which is this kind of thing, or any like the starter kits, like your mouth to lung devices, smoking it like a cigarette. Um, and apparently he'd vented a battery, which is obviously where the batteries then started spewing out battery acid and kind of like, just like almost catching fire or does catch fire kind of thing, because he hadn't changed his wire or his cotton, which obviously soaks up liquid in 6 months, and he blamed it on the vape shop, and that's why um, every vape shop in England now is not allowed to really give any information on anything to do with like rebuilding your own coils or anything like that. That's more of like a specialist market. You kind of have to get into it through like vaping forums and Facebook pages and all that shit. Like we're legally not allowed to give out evidence or anything like that. And they changed all like loads of laws when they brought in tobacco laws back in 2017. So I've seen like the rise of vaping. I'm seeing the fall of vaping. It's kind of on the rise again. Like obviously, there's a main thing at the minute, which if you guys do vape or anything like that, you'll know disposables are a big thing on the market. So they're a little almost similar to this, almost like a pod system kind of thing, where there's no button on it. It's pre-filled. You pay anywhere from like £5 to £7 for one, or whatever your currency is. And as soon as it's empty, you just kind of throw it in the bin, which isn't very cost effective. It's not very good for the environment because they're not recyclable or anything like that. But they are the massive thing that's taken over the market at the minute.
It's kind of ironic as well, because well, I say that because you work all the time in vape. You know,
Mm,
you enjoy it to be with the
mm.
vape and making. I see you there with you, like you open like this little zip case and you had all like the tools and everything. You were making your
Yeah,
coils.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but obviously I'm making you talk about it now. So it's sort of like, I'm. Is it difficult to have all that knowledge and passing it upon people, because it can be to that stage where, like you say, with people making their own batteries, like how is that something that can be stopped? Like how can you put that in someone's head, say this isn't us, this is these sort of people that are doing it?
We so legally, I have to advise people while I'm working to like kind of not get into that kind of thing. And if you are, unfortunately, I won't be able to help you, kind of thing. But if it's like starter kits, like these kind of things, or like the big box mods where they still have the screen on it, up and down button, and all that shit, I can kind of advise. I can advise on that stuff because obviously that's the kind of stuff I'm selling. Obviously, like the rebuildable market, it's a very niche, very specific market where you
Never used to
basically
be
have
though,
to.
did it? It was the big
Not
thing.
really. No, every fucker got into it at one point. They're all
Yeah,
building their coils and everything like that. Like we had one guy I don't even remember me talking about him called Dangerous Dan.
Dangerous Dan, that's one I
He
always
was
remember.
yeah, he was a dodgy guy. So we used to take batteries out of like DeWalt drills and stuff, like cordless does, which shouldn't ever be used in a vape, by the way. Like, I'm going to say that out for you now. Like, if I ever catch anyone using stuff like that in a vape and being very unsafe, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. I don't care, like, whatsoever. And he was using that stuff, and he was doing like very, very low ohmage builds. So obviously, ohms, you have to understand like the base knowledge of Ohm's law, which is basically like you end up becoming a fucking electrician understanding that shit if it's all buried up in your head.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge that goes into that kind of side of things. Even like the pod systems and stuff like that. There's still a lot of knowledge you need to know about these, like maintaining, care, usage, obviously how long to charge it for, what kind of charging plug to use, or anything like that. There's a lot of stuff to maintain. So we do actually have like leaflets and stuff at my store that kind of give you one of the knowledge if people just want to get in, get out, grab the shit, fuck off kind of thing. I just kind of pass them one of them leaflets and tell them to go over that. If they then fuck up and do something wrong, then that's on them. That's not down to me. That's all.
Do you think with the industry,
No,
do you think with the industry, obviously I don't know a lot about it. I've spent a lot of time around you with it. You know, I vaped from time to time.
Yeah.
But do you think with this industry now, because I've seen a lot of these temperamental vapes, like you say, you just vape it and you smoke it vape it and then you chuck it away. I've seen people with massive collections. You see them around the floor and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something quick and easy for stores to sell? Not necessarily what, you know, the people like yourself who have been around for, you know, a long ass time. Is it crappy to hear, or is it really bad?
It's
hurt to hear say like, oh yeah, I want a vape, and then they go and pick that one out?
You go for something like that. Well, I always do advise people that they're not very cost effective. Obviously, they're not great for the environment because obviously they can't be recycled or anything like that because of the battery that's inside it. And I try and persuade them to get something small. Like obviously, I've got this one which you change a coil on. You've got this one over here, which is essentially the same thing, just with no buttons. It works very similar to a disposable. It's just rechargeable and refillable. So as soon as kind of that bit burns out, the head part for it burns out, you throw that away every 2 weeks. Which obviously isn't as bad, but that's recyclable, whereas obviously the thrown away disposable isn't. So it's still not anywhere near as bad for the environment or anything like that. But I do get the whole thing of like they just want something quick, easy that they don't have to fucking mess around with. They can just get it out of a box, vape the fucker, use it until it's dead, throw it in a bin kind of thing. I get that, especially for nights out and stuff. You don't want to take a huge, expensive bit of kit out because some of the bigger devices and stuff like that, you're looking at stuff like this. You're looking at about 80, 90 quid, depending on where you go.
Wow.
You know what I mean? There's always there's all extras you need to buy, like there's an external battery charge you need to buy for huge shit like that, because if you try and charge it through a device, the batteries aren't going to charge properly. They'll start to fluctuate. So one of them will probably be about 60% charge, one will be 90% charge. It won't ever be both fully 100% if you charge it through a device. There's like an extra battery charge you're looking at, which can be like 15 to 25 quid, depending on the size of it you get. So you get like 2 bay ones, 4 bay ones, there's 8 bay ones, stuff like that. Obviously, there's the liquids and stuff, which depend on the size of the bottle. Depends on obviously the price and shit. There's coils, which obviously, if you've got something that's relatively temperamental, there's a bad batch of coils. You're probably spending fucking 10 to 15 quid every couple of weeks on coils, kind of thing. If you do get like a bad batch, you know.
Of course. So
yeah,
as we're coming to the end of the show, all in all, it's one of those things where it's like, because vaping, it all started out because you wanted to stop smoking, right? That was my idea.
Yeah.
Now you get a lot of people that are doing it for the sake of it. Do you still believe in the original moral?
I feel like the original moral kind of resonates a little bit more with like the older generation. So with my store specifically, I get a lot of like the older generation, like 40s and upwards, that come in because they've been told by their doctors or something, if they continue smoking, they are obviously going to do some serious damage to their lungs, and they kind of want to see their children and their grandchildren kind of grow old. They want to obviously last a little bit longer, so have some better memories with their families, you know, like some as they're getting older kind of thing, which I totally understand. But you get a lot of people like our age and a little bit younger that literally just vape for the fucking sake of vaping. Like we've got Matty, for example, never smoked in his life, got a vape. I don't agree with that personally. Like I straight up refuse to sell anyone a vape if they're not a smoker or anything like that, because it goes against my judgment. And
but
it's just not worth it. I've seen a lot of people backtrack, you know, like they'll start off vaping if they've never smoked in their fucking life. Most liquids come with nicotine in them anyway, so they end up getting addicted to the nicotine itself, and then they go to smoking, kind of thing.
But it's sort of like, what can you do? It's, you know, it's sad because sales are sale, but
yeah,
like I say, coming to the end of the stream, the podcast now, time's flown by. Speaking,
absolutely.
Speaking to you, Obviously, got a lot out. Is there any last minute things that you would like to shout out, whether it be your
Um,
stream or?
well, obviously that's a given. Go tune into me whenever I am live. Twitch.tv/ShanRock Shake. And the last touch I want to get onto is clothing company that we know of, little company called Vandal Threads,
Okay.
which you touched base on a little bit at the beginning of the podcast. Um, we do have a good few ranges on there. We are partnered with a couple of different companies, like high end companies. Like we've got currently got the Champion collection out. We've got an Adidas collection. We're also partnered with Gildan and American Apparel as well. So we have got a load of big things coming in the future as well. We have just vaulted a few things for the time being, like older designs. We don't want to have just the same stuff on the website day in, day out, month in, month out. So we try and keep it fresh for you guys as well. But you can use code VNDL for 5% off, or if you want to personally represent me on the website, you can use code SHEK, which is SHEK, for 5% off as well. That directly helps me as well, which is really, really cool. So if you do that, thank you very much. If you don't, you use the standard VNDL code, that's absolutely fine, not an issue. And if you are spending obviously over £75, do use code 375 and save yourself a bit on shipping as well.
But yeah, last thing, go check out the new Threads video. It's an uploaded rendition of our highlighted video that we had going on. So we had a 10-minute video highlighting our charity event, and now we have a whole hour for that video. So be sure to go check that out. I'll put it down in the chat here for the stream, and I'll put it down in the comments below, in the description below for the YouTube video. But yeah, like I say, go check out all the socials. VandalLive on everything, ShanRock Shake on all as well. I really do appreciate you coming out today, dude.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
All right, sweet. Thanks so much for coming out, and I'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.